So welcome to the next step of our implant retained tissue supported upper and full lower dentures. So the lower, as you know already, will be the implant retained tissue supported full denture. So just as a recap, here we have our lower preliminary impression. As you can see, the locator abutments have been torqued down to the implants already, even though partially part of them may be missing from the alginate. This is not a concern because, as we've done already, we're going to block these out roughly about 4, 5, 6 millimeters higher than the abutments and a little bit wider to give the practitioner some leeway space left and right to take the final impression. The impression analogs or impression copings are attached to the abutments intraorally. The custom tray is loaded with a medium or light or heavy body or both. Impression is picked up, and the impression has those impression copings inside and have been retained inside the impression and very firmly. Once we have that impression, I've taken the liberty just previously to bead and box my final impression. But as you can see here, go figure, we've taken the working insert out. We've analyzed the impression for any discrepancies, blocked out any kind of small voids, and then we've inserted here the abutment replica. This is a replication, at least the replication of the head of the abutment. In this case, it is the locator attachment being utilized. And I've chosen this one because it seems to be the most popular. We're going to insert, before beading and boxing would be better, but I've already taken it out. We're going to insert the abutment replica inside the impression analog or impression coping. And then now we're going to go and pour the model up. Now this may seem like a lot for somebody who's like, wow, beading and boxing. I've taken a nice beading wax here, even thickness around. I've even used my scalpel to remove any excess or any voids of the material, giving it a smooth border. Preferably not under the extension of the width of border molding, but over the width. So if it's overextended, I can reduce it. And then I've created a nice border shallow to the border of the denture, put in a tongue spacer area. And then here, instead of boxing wax, I just use some base plate wax. And let me just zoom out here. And then obviously poured it very high. We're only gonna make the model maybe this high. You don't have to fill it all the way up. But I just had a sheet of wax because it stabilizes it on the table parallel to the tray. So the tray is not interfered with by the handle or the finger rests, so it doesn't dislodge. Now here, another thing we can take our prosthetics to the next level, that we'd be using a vacuum mix stone, creating a more dense model of calcium sulfate. A more dense model so we don't have any of those rough abrasions on the tissue intaglio surface of the denture. So another good reason for beading and boxing, yes, to ensure a uniform border or land area outside the extensions of the border molding, but as well as creating a higher dense model. Once we've created our master model, then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so this is the beading and boxing of our border molded lower impression. The upper you already is for all intensive purposes, and we're going to create a base plate for the maxilla.